9 o'clock, a minute or so after, we'll call the facilities meeting to order. Do we need to do a roll call?
Commissioner Fournier,
Here.
Commissioner Britton,
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Here. All right, everyone, show pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Pretty quick agenda here. I guess we'll start it out with the Fair Board. What do you got for us? So Jesse, do you want to start things out with this conversation?
Sure, yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with the fair, but it does have to do with the fairgrounds. So this will be actually a new item, I guess, added to it, but under the same, probably one part A, we'll add it. That's okay. So the issue of homeless people staying at the fairgrounds has come up again. I've been looking into different options that I was going to bring before this body at a future date, but I can run by the three options, maybe see if there's an appetite for maybe two out of the three, or if maybe there's one that stands out to you, and we'll aggressively follow that one. If I can't figure out how to get there on the current path, we'll find another path to get there. But the first one would be to start contracting with third parties. So basically at the beginning of the year, what we'll say to Salvation Army is, if you're going to be paying for people to come here, it's $1,000 a year that you're going to pay up front. And those costs will cover things like, for example, when tents are abandoned and they have to go and clear off the site because now we have extra trash and stuff we're getting rid of, and it's taking up their time. Issues like, well, what was described earlier. The second would be what we just mentioned, which is to invoice the third parties for the damages or any extra work that's caused by these individuals. And third is just to start denying in the future, third parties from being able to purchase lots. It'd have to be first person purchase. Those would be the three options. I do think this might be something also to bring before the Intergovernmental Council in the future as a topic, because although it's a county issue, if we do shut down the fairgrounds, these people are going to be all over the place, and it will become a countywide issue with townships and the city, I think, having to get involved. So
I definitely think it would be something that we should add to the agenda at the intergovernmental.
Okay, so I'll make sure that that's added. But then in
Time we do that. Yes.
well, I mean, I think we're stuck this season. I mean, we're already halfway through.
Yeah.
But it's more
At least
seeing our ducks in a row,
discussion.
right?
Yeah, for next year.
So do you guys think, I mean, I ask either the contract, the invoice, or the full out deny, or any of the three of those, maybe one that you don't want me to pursue? We'll call it maybe a little bit less work and save us some money with the attorneys. Is there one that maybe you favor above the other two? And then we'll just pursue that sole one.
I think as long as it's legal for us to do so, I think we ought to go. My personal opinion is I would invoice them for whatever we got in costs and then deal with it. I mean, that still doesn't make up for the disruption part, but at least it gets some of your costs covered, and it should help, limit that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that probably what we ought to do is actually send out a letter, once you get through legal counsel, make sure we're copacetic with it, that the people that are actually funding this stuff ought to get notified first.
Okay.
So that they can't say that this all of a sudden just cropped up.
And I'd like to see just Alpena County only people.
Well, yeah, if there's a way to do that too, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they're coming from all over because we're so nice.
So is this something that you would, if we do the invoicing, maybe I can create like a menu system of like, if it's extra custodial work, this is what we're going to charge you by the hour for whatever is damaged. If it's an abandonment of a site that we have to clean up, this is what we're going to charge. And I also think another issue that we're running into is disruption. We have law enforcement out there a lot. And I'll tell you, we do have, Holly and I were talking, we have a family that's quite prominent here in Alpena that had to sit there and watch cops show up and repossess vehicles that were basically abandoned by, I mean, it's just, it puts a bad taste, I think, in the mouth of
Goes
the,
abandoned at the fairgrounds?
yeah. They weren't paying for, it was a rental vehicle that they weren't paying for, and they just kind of left it there and it was collected. So,
It was told to us, they rented a truck from Home Depot, put their belongings in it, and I guess just showed up at the campground thinking nobody would find them there. So Burrell showed up, repoed the truck, they took some stuff out. But I mean, they were sitting there, front porch, kids playing in their campsite and having a good time, but yet got repossessions going on.
I mean, it's almost become kind of shanty town, you know, it's similar to what we're seeing out on the west coast.
Does the county make a lot of money off of these sites?
Unfortunately, we do make some money off of it, yeah.
Is it worth the grief?
It's not worth the additional grief, I don't think. I mean, because by the time you take what we're making off of it and then you take the additional labor and costs that are going into it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, are we still making money? Yeah, but again, what would we make corporate worth? Where there was order and cleanliness and people abiding by the laws and the rules. I think we'd be having a lot more individuals interested in that, but I do think we lose a lot of people because they drive by and they know exactly what they're walking into. If they
Yeah, definitely.
Fairground.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we had a conversation at the beginning, or maybe it was last year, about the individuals that were staying there, being funded to stay there, that if there were problems, we weren't gonna continue to do this.
I mean, we started a blacklist. The problem is when almost 80% of the individuals that are being put there, even though they're different individuals, are the same type of individual.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So it's not necessarily that we're allowing the same individuals on the property. It's the fact that we're having the same type of individuals that just have no respect for the property, the rules, the order of the fairground.
That's where I'd like to see that we have the ability to tell them to leave.
So what I'm hearing is we'll go with because we still have the blacklist in place, we can still utilize that, but I'll pursue the invoice with menu options and reaching out to them probably before the end of this year. And maybe we can have a meeting with the entities that utilize that. I think it's Salvation Army. There's one other one. St. Vincent. Are the two big ones that usually have people there.
I think that we just need to stop doing this.
Okay.
Honestly, it's just an eyesore.
And
It's the talk of the town whenever the tents start popping up. And I definitely agree with the fact that we are losing additional revenue because people are not going to go camp there.
No.
In fact, I don't know anyone that camps there outside of Fair Week. So I mean, I just feel like, we need to give these agencies some notice and maybe we even finish out the year, with the grief and just tell them, as of, whatever, October 1, we're not going to do this anymore. It's just going to be the person who's staying on the site needs to be the person that rents it. And it's with a 5-day cap without prior approval or something like that. I mean, that's my opinion. It just,
So what we can do is, we can reach out. I'll draft a letter. I'll bring it to the next meeting here for you guys to approve, basically letting them know that, in season 2026, this isn't gonna be something that the county allows anymore. If we get severe pushback, we'll invite them to this committee and they can make their case and you guys can consider whether or not you want to stick with it or if
We've told them,
there's a
like I
compromise.
said, in the past, we've had problems. So how many years do we have to continue to do this before someone realizes that we can't keep doing it?
Right.
yeah, I think it's created far more grief than the revenue offset.
Okay.
With the authorities between the sheriff and the city having to make visits with, just the bad press alone, it's depleting our rentals.
Right.
I just think it's something that we need to end. And if we give them enough notice, I think that's fair.
Okay.
I mean, especially if they're shipping them in from other counties.
Oh, yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation, but maybe they can take some time over the winter to reach out to some other people that have some property that maybe would donate and set up some power or something. I don't know.
But I think there's enough service groups and churches and organizations such as these that could probably band together and figure out some sort of option. And
Well, but I think the bottom line is, we shouldn't be funding people from other counties downstate. You would think you'd take care of your own people first before, if they're shipping them up here, I think that's a problem in itself.
what is, because again, once we say we're not going to do this anymore, those people just don't go away. It's going to be, it'll then fall on, I mean, they're going to find elsewhere to pop a tent or a sleeping bag or whatever. So, it's definitely a conversation, maybe like I said, for the IGC, in the future. So I'll reach out and let them know that would be a topic we'd like added and I think it'd be worthwhile. So,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. I'll start that letter and I'll have it ready at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Anything else from the Fair Board?
Yeah, actually, so they have a totally other topic. Sean, I guess, did you want, or Holly, did one of you, I guess I can kind of give an overview. So in the past, when Wes was super of grounds maintenance, he was also overseeing the fairgrounds. He was kind of the direct report for that. In past seasons, he has created temporary campsites in addition to the permanent campsites that we have. Temporary campsites on the fairground or in the fairgrounds that they then give to 4-H to use for Fair Week. They'll usually camp out there through the night, and then they'll pack up their site and have it cleared out by morning because they use that site for horse racing, right? Is it horse
No,
racing or?
so for probably the last 5 years, we have needed extra sites because we fill up all the sites between whatever Fair Board and all the 4-H families, and also sites that are taken for the carnival essentially. And so for probably the last 5 years, we have pulled that permit for extra camping because we fill it and there's not enough room for camping. So I think the question for the day is, we don't move. The thing this year is we have the horse race, so we can't use those sites until Sunday after 8 p.m., which the 7 or 8 people that are on the wait list, as far as I know, are perfectly fine with being able to move in Sunday because that's better than not camping there at all. Me being one of those people. But so I think the question is if we can pull that permit again this year.
Well, so hold on, because there's some clarification that we need. We did open for reservations prior to opening to the public this year. So there was the opportunity to reserve those sites. For 4-H, from my understanding, chose not to in anticipation that they would be allowed to do what's been done in the past.
Every site is booked.
But it was not when we had it open, correct?
Right, I gave you the list and you could have included yours and Cheryl's names on it, but you put everybody else's names and just assumed that you're gonna be able to camp in the middle. And from what I understood, the temporary campsites were only created because of like a mistake, like overbooking, booking 2 people on, the same site. And so Patrick did that as a save all to give that as an option, but if we.
And that just
were planning it, correctly, like we're doing this year and gave all the opportunity, I didn't think there was a need for the temporary campsites.
So there was the option in the beginning though to reserve sites.
Correct.
Okay. And so they didn't do that in anticipation that these other sites would be there.
I didn't, yes.
Or
That's the
whoever,
person.
yeah.
But there are still 8 other people, not including myself, that still need sites.
There's another issue in that, from my understanding, Wes gave those sites for free. He didn't charge for them, correct?
Just 2 of us.
So that's another issue. The other issue
The
is,
2 county
you-
employees, essentially. Cheryl, the office manager, and myself have not paid.
okay, and then the other issue is that you said you pull the permits, but it's actually the county that pulls the permits. That's, the cost is on us for that.
Correct.
So we have a lot of issues kind of going here. We just need clarification going
And
forward.
4-H will pay.
It's a-
We would do it.
Is it one permit?
Yeah.
You have to request a permit from, is it Eagle?
From Health Department, I believe. And then Nick has to go out there and draw the lines, the temporary lines, and mark them and have them prepared. And then they come out and do an inspection and say, you can have 2 to, what's the amount, like 2 to 20 or something.
20 for the first tier licenses. And you can have up to 2 campsites to 20. And then if you go past 20, there's another tier, higher cost for that license. And he come out, an inspection on the kitchen for the merchants building. We kind of did around and I'm like, this is where the campsite usually is. I said, and I told him, well, they're having the harness racing on Sunday. And he said, well, that don't really make sense to open up a campsite. It's gonna be, the fair's gonna be halfway over. By the time I can come over here and look at a setup site, he said, it's gonna be Tuesday. He said,
We can create the sites the week before fair and have them inspected. We just don't put anything on them.
and who's gonna man, making sure nobody's in and out of those campsites? You know what I mean? We're in charge of the camping and campsites. So that means we're gonna have to do something with the fair board to ensure, okay, well, somebody didn't have to go back to their campsites, because what you're saying is not gonna be just you and Cheryl. If it was you and Cheryl, that would
There
be
will
an
be
issue.
nobody on the track, cause that's the agreement with the Fair Board that we know. There will be nobody on the track until Sunday after 8.
And it's just on the grass, right?
Yeah.
How much do we charge outside of the two county folks historically?
Last year-
30.
No, I think it was 25.
25.
because
It
there's
was the
no
regular
power.
price with
Yeah,
no power or
no
electric.
water, and the
Yeah.
two sites that they usually get are poles, and they work that out between them and another group, I guess, because there's two poles, so everybody up there will be basically primitive camping except for their two parties on those two poles, so.
And how much are the regular sites?
35.
How much are the permits to pull the permit?
It was
80 or
200.
something?
It was 200.
And we didn't, like, I only charged for 2 campsites last year. We opened up 17 and only 2 were paid for, and it doesn't necessarily even cover the cost of the license. And like I said, we use paint and having to put up the silt fence and everything, and I just don't see how it's gonna work, getting an inspection done in time for them to have the camping after the horse race. He already said he couldn't do it, but,
Were they,
who
Were
was
they-
doing the inspector? You don't know his
The
name?
health department inspector.
And I called and talked to them and they said it's not a problem.
well, I know, I guess I didn't pay close attention last year, but I know the year prior it was full.
Yes.
So,
So that's because we didn't open it early. So we did it differently this year where we opened it in December, December 1st to 31st. What was it? November. And what we did was we only allowed it, so Holly then took reservations or through basically email and whatnot, collected the names, and then she manually went and put them in. Once all those names were put in, then she opened it up to the public. So that we didn't have people basically trying to get into Fair Week beforehand, that it was reserved for the fair, for 4-H and for others who were associated with the fair to get in there first.
Travis was talking about the infield difference of
Yeah.
last year and the year before, which I thought there was more than 4 campers there last year, but I guess I don't really remember.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, in previous years, it made sense because we opened up to the public and that fair thing, it was open to everybody. So you would have where there might not be enough lots for the Fair Board or for 4-H or for others.
Which opening it up early to 4-H was because of actually the conversation you guys had before, this conversation of the Salvation Army campers coming in, and then we were losing sites essentially for
Well,
families.
Excuse me, but actually, I'm the one that opened it up early. The reason we did it was to prioritize 4-H and Fair Board, not to do anything with Salvation Army or anything like that. It was we opened it up specifically because we worked out different rates, I think, right, for that
We
week.
did work out different rates
Yeah.
for if someone outside of their 4-H were to camp about week passes, but
Yeah,
in
yeah.
turn, we have filled the entire thing.
Right.
so the campground's full right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a cancellation list going?
You're talking, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
You're
just for-
talking Fair Week.
Yeah, Fair Week.
Yes, we're completely full with 4-H the vendors. Do I have a cancellation list? No, nobody's canceled. Everybody's paid and made the.
But do you have people that are waiting?
I've got a waiting list, yes.
How many people are on that?
Probably 8.
If not 9.
So I think that historically it's been useful. You know, I think that if we did it, I think we could call these people on the cancellation list, and I would be certainly willing to bet they would jump on those. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, if we can, and if we have plenty available, we'll lean on these young ladies maybe to solicit some extra. But so just so I understand, the fair starts on Friday and then the track is unavailable till Tuesday, is that?
It's Sunday.
Sunday.
So our harness racing takes up the entire track. So just because of safety concerns, we can't have campers inside of the track. I know that we had talked about, I know Nick and Holly, like where we've typically put it is right almost dead on where the horses will be racing. So yes, setting up the temporary camping area would be difficult in that exact location before Sunday. But if we were to move it, which I don't know if that's possible, if we were to adjust that where they're located, the campers are located, that can be set up prior. We just can't have campers in the track before the harness racing. So the inspections and everything else could happen before Sunday as long as it's not placed right on the track.
They could even really be laid out prior to Sunday. And with the understanding that anybody that rents them can't move in there until Sunday.
That is correct. And we do, as far as like policing, making sure that we do have security and everything prepared for Sunday to make sure nobody gets on the track. But like I said, if there's no campers there, that's not really our concern. That would be more of just spectators and things like that, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Chairman, if I could, I mean, what I would recommend is if the board's going to move forward with allowing it for this year, that we revisit basically the next year, because if there's enough lots, then there's no reason to do the temporary. But if we are doing it this year, I do think the $280 permit needs to be absorbed by the entity that's requesting the work rather than the county, because we are trying really hard to make a profit this year. And then another question is just, I guess, the waiving of costs, I guess I don't understand, because I know Commissioner Fournier, you camp at different parks, you pay to camp there, correct? There's no waiving for a county employee. So,
We pay both
yeah,
ways.
so I mean, that would be other thing.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That was just something we just never,
It wasn't your fault. It's just, yeah, it's how they had it set up. So, I mean, it was just how Wes had it done prior and we didn't have. So,
Okay.
I just want to make sure that the burden of the cost of this wouldn't fall on the fair board, because I think we've also given out some of the buildings at either discount or for free use this year. So I mean, every time we're doing that, even if it's for a good cause, again, it's chipping into that.
Even when
revenue.
we do storage with our motorhome, we pay
Yeah.
nothing free.
Well, and I think we even charge the parks when I think something like Park had that.
Trailer in there.
Yeah, we put in, so it's basically cost allocation.
So if we did it for $30, just $5 less because there's no, electrical or anything like that. At this point and, moving forward, if we do it every year, I think it is more of a convenience for the people that forgot to book. Or if we don't have enough, then, if we did it moving forward every year and just offered them as primitive sites at $30 in addition, maybe next year it could be 40. I feel like there's room for that. I don't know how the tiers go, if it's in 20 site
I think
increments.
it's usually 20. And I think you're right. I mean, I think it's definitely could be planned better. And, even if we opened it up for them early or whatever, but have it where they can go online and do that. Because I mean, that's a lot of work. I don't know how many days I sat there and watched her have to type it in, and then this person wants to move to here because they've been here for 20 years.
Sure.
And, all of the stories come into it. So I think it would be benefit if we plan for it next year, open it up to them, let them go online, reserve wherever they want to. And that way, if we need more than 20, we can do that.
Mhm. And you'll know ahead of time.
Yeah, and just do it better. And I mean, we can set up that campsite or whatever. I don't see how that would benefit starting on, Sunday or Monday night for some people. Now, Michelle and them, they would probably,
well, every 4-H family, every family is there from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. I mean.
So those additional sites that you're talking
Pretty
about
much living out there for 4 weeks. So, yeah.
benefit whoever's camping there.
Well, it'd be Sunday night through the end of the fair, correct?
Which is the whole week still.
Right, so it's
And then you're gonna charge $25 a night for those campsites. Okay.
I know that parks said that the fairgrounds will go by their price. So whatever parks charges for a week, and I know if you stay a week, you do get a discount. And we do have lots with no power and water. They pay a certain price. So you have to go by what parks and put. So you have to look at the list.
I think the only adjustment we made that diverts from what the parks, that is the week of Fair Week, we added a small surcharge onto if the Joe Schmo, if I want to go and camp there. Because I'm in the campgrounds and Fair Week's going on, once you're inside those fairgrounds, you have access to the entire fair. So what you had were people knowing that they'd go and rent the $25 thing and they'd have access to the fair for the whole week. So by doing the small surcharge for the cost of a wristband, and that goes to the fair board, we make sure that they get that profit. But it's because they had people who were booking, going in, enjoying the fair free, basically. So we want to make sure that the fair board wasn't being shorted either.
That makes sense.
But that's the only diversion we've made from the numbers that the park has set.
I know the county commissioners, they get a free pass to go to the fair,
Okay,
to go drive in.
okay.
Oh, they always did.
I agree, Brenda, you just said it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know, well, my husband, his office is at the fair.
Okay.
He does get a pass.
Yeah, we make,
Get-
we make,
County employees can
we
have
make
these.
little signs.
Yeah,
So
we don't go to the fair.
in my opinion, I think that we should move forward with this priced accordingly in line with the
County
county's
parks.
primitive sites.
Mhm.
And, you know, we could get it laid out prior. And, that way then with the understanding that these people can't move in until Sunday, and then you two that are there all week, I'll ask you informally to try and police that. If you see somebody show up and start pitching tent, on Saturday,
Mhm.
just make sure they know,
We're on it.
remind them.
I'll be right on it.
Yep. And I think that moving forward, I think that especially honestly, if we get rid of the seasonal tent people out front, I think that we might get to that 40 mark on the infield. Because, there's a lot of people that come for the derbies and the bump and runs, and they're there 3 nights a week anyway. And sometimes when they leave, they probably shouldn't. So I think it would turn into a moneymaker, and I can understand it's gonna be a pain in the ass for you too. Unfortunately, we make hay that week. Yeah,
Fair week should be our vacation time. when we-
right. Yeah,
I would love that.
right. Yep. So I guess I would look for a motion to move forward with, do we want to say this year? Or do we want to
For,
revisit it or?
I would say for this year, and then, if you want to direct maybe me and Holly to meet with Michelle and Courtney to maybe bring something back, end of the year in preparation for next year.
Yeah.
Good idea. I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
All right. That's what we'll do. And then if you guys could get together and come back to us, say in like October, when everybody's like settled down a little bit. And then that'll give them enough time to plan. Because when do we open that up? January? The county park stuff?
Well, we
Booking online?
Yeah.
Yes, January first.
got to the public January.
January 2nd.
January 2nd.
Okay, so yeah, if we can have it listed as available, I think you might have a pretty good chance of filling it. So,
And truthfully, it just, from our standpoint, just from opening it up early this year, I know it was sort of a mess for you guys. But we're willing to make that easier somehow, like even if the fair board were to take the entire fairgrounds and then we take care of putting people in place, like we would pay the bill for the entire thing, rent it out, and then we put people in place to make it easier on you guys. I don't know if that's something that could be considered. Again, we can revisit that in October, but we're willing to do something to make sure that we can get early access again this year.
Because 4-H has said that too. We have offered that last year. Like we would pay the bill to rent the whole thing to pretty much be in charge of it. And I mean, I sat for hours with Holly figuring out and listening to everybody's, this is where I go, because we ran into the issue.
Why did she get this site? Cause I've been on
Yeah, it
for
was-
7 years and I know her. She's brand new and I've had that
Yeah,
spot for
and
30
so,
years.
I mean, we spent a long time navigating and mitigating who was
Yeah.
going where, and I don't have it, I mean, we got the map out, and I mean, we spent probably 3 days figuring out how to do that, so. I mean, same thing with Courtney, and Fair Board and 4-H Council ourselves have had the discussion, I mean. Both entities, I speak for both of us, I mean, I don't think that either one of us have the problem of like, really, if we could just get control of the grounds for those 2 weeks, including camping, neither one of us have a problem taking on that extra. I don't know, task.
well, if you two are willing to sit down amongst yourselves and your group of people and start making a list with the map and with everybody there understanding that January 2nd, it's going to these folks and that's the final draft.
Right.
So I think that might be a lot easier for everybody. Then you can put it in one time and say, no, you've turned in your final draft. This is it.
That's a good idea because everybody's there in person too. So you don't have to do, 20 emails and
Yep.
everybody's already on the lots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you, say October. Get things in motion there. And, give these two as much help as you can, getting everything ready.
We have a motion on the floor.
So we do have a motion and, support, correct?
Yes,
So do we need a vote on this?
all in favor?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Okay, motion passes. We'll move forward with that. And I think we're on to the next. Let's see, is there any discussion or anything that we need to add?
No, I think we're good.
Okay,
Cell phone tower. So for about 2 weeks ago, the sheriff was approached by Mr. Logan Phillips with a company called Telecad Wireless. They are a contracting company that Verizon uses. They basically go out and scout locations for their cell phone towers. It's one of their duties. There's a need for a cell phone tower in Wilson Township. They approached the sheriff, who then kind of looped me in, and we just did a call, I think Thursday or Friday of last week. They've identified the sheriff's property as a possible location that they'd like to erect this tower. Most of the towers, they need a 100 by 100 square foot patch. In this case, they said it might be as little as 50 by 50 feet just because of the location. They're looking at that grassy area that we were kind of thinking about for the animal control facility, that's to the left of that pole barn. When you first pull in, there's that barn to the left. There's that grassy area to the left of that. So they're in the exploratory phase right now. They're just trying to find different locations that they can take back. They began with offering approximately $75,000 to $80,000. They would like a 75-year lease. They would like to pay that in one lump sum. We're thinking about maybe going back and asking for a little bit more, and basically framing it as such that not only would it pay for the cell phone tower, but it would also get them some earned media, I think, in good name in the area on the money that they would pay for that would go towards the radios that we've been trying to get for the sheriff. Those sunset later on July of next year, I believe. They're no longer going to be used, but we needed the new encrypted radios. It's $200,000. We've allocated $100,000. We need another 100. We may ask for a little bit more than that 100. I think also in the contract, what we'll say is if other companies like Verizon, for example, will tell AT&T, hey, you can use one of our towers to put your holders up, and then they get a profit off of that. That if other entities or other additions are made to that tower, that then we get a small kickback on that as well going forward. I have to take them an offer before the close of business tomorrow, just an approximate. And so I don't, I think if we ask for, basically maybe 100 to 125,000 for a 75-year, it looks like that's pretty much in line with, I've done a little bit of research with what they're getting for these. And then the one thing I don't know that I'd have to still find is the number for if they were to do the addition, what that additional one-time fee would be. If they add another, I don't even know what you would call it, another mechanism on that tower. They'll take care of all the FAA permitting and all that stuff. They're just looking for the property. So
did the sheriff have any concerns?
he's absolutely open to it. So he thinks he's
So
good with it.
what do you think?
I think it's a good move. I mean, it helps us fund something important that we've been trying to get done. It's not like a tower's gonna hurt us, I mean, it's property that's just sitting there.
I assume because Verizon's footing the bill, I assume they would have exclusive use to the tower, right? You mentioned somebody else putting something else on it.
Verizon, but Verizon does sublet their tower to other entities,
Okay.
other carriers, and then those carriers pay Verizon. That's why you'll see a lot of people say, oh, I have Spectrum, but it's the same coverage because they have Verizon towers. So it's just
Do you think we could get 125 for 75 years?
I'm gonna ask, that's what I think we're gonna come back with. And I think, again, it gets them some good publicity if it's on the front page of the page that it says proceeds are going towards helping get these radios that are vital to our area. So it's asking for a little bit more.
But they're making money because they're gonna turn around and
And my guess,
75 years is a long time.
well, my guess is too, I mean, I was a little perplexed why they didn't try Manning Hill. They have towers there already, why aren't they just, so it was kind of weird, but I guess there's some sort of dead zone
Oh, yeah, it's hateful.
Huh?
It's hateful.
Yeah, is it?
Stand out in the middle of the road talking on my phone.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So yeah, I would say that we go.
So I'm all for it.
I think-
So any motion on that?
So
Yes.
for discussion too, I thought we were originally talking when they on the phone.
Yep, sorry. There was conversations after that. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, so what was the conversation afterwards? Because originally we talked that we didn't want to put it on that grassy area because of potential future expansion.
That's the area that they're looking at. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned, we did mention the fact that there's some wetland that they'd have to work through, but there's another dry patch behind the sheriff's department further back. They didn't sound super eager about that, but they did say it was a possibility. So I mean, we can definitely, we would just let them know we're open to putting it on the sheriff's property. I mean, at that point, we can recommend the location, I guess. But because of the wetland and the road and stuff, they didn't, I mean, maybe you picked up a different tone. I picked up they weren't really eager about that.
So I, on that, yes, but then we talked because of that grassy area in the front was a potential site for something else,
Right.
that if we put a tower there, then that's not gonna happen.
Not necessarily because that's when I asked him about the square footage and he said even though they usually look for 100 by 100, it'd be much smaller. And in that case, it wouldn't affect that area for what we'd want to use it for.
Well, ultimately, we would have the final say of where it goes in the property, right?
Correct, yeah. I mean, we would tell them this is, this is what we're offering, this area or this location on the property. So,
Because I understand what John is asking. We certainly wouldn't want to jeopardize being able to expand out there if we needed to.
and I did also bring up the fact, I did question whether or not, because I know like, for example, the tower that we erected over at emergency management, there's a big sign basically saying like, hey, don't hang it here too long because it's radioactive, like it's not good for you. And I'm like, how does that work with this? He's like, it's a different type of tower. He goes, unless you're up at the top, that's where the danger zone is. He goes, but it's going to be tall enough where you're not going to have any effect at the bottom. So,
Okay.
And then the other thing too is that they may not even choose to go.
right. I mean, I'm guessing it's a contracting company. They're not going to go back to their employer with one option. They're going to go back to their employer with here's 3 or 4 options. I think the appealing thing with this is it's earned media. They're gonna make front page, because of this, so it gets them some good publicity, I would assume, simply because it's a big deal. These radios have been a project that we've been trying to accomplish for, I think they've been in the budget for 3 years now.
Do you think we should counter at 100 or go right to the 125?
I'd go with 125 and just let them know that, what we're looking for and that, I think the 125 would be helpful. And I would say just 100 because originally we were quoted at 200, but again, that's 3 years ago. So I don't want to say 200 and then we go back and I mean, all kinds of prices are changing right now with the way things are going. So, if we have the 25,000, I'm sure it's went up a little bit. So
I do have a question, just.
Yeah.
I used to be with Verizon and I switched
Mhm.
Spectrum.
Me too.
When I was with Verizon,
Oh.
they did give me a discount for being an employee of the county.
Yep. You can get that with Spectrum too. That's all cell phone companies.
Spectrum does that too?
You should be able to get a government discount. It's a 3% discount, I think.
I never asked.
Or 1.5 or 3%.
I never asked.
Because I got with the federal, the state, and I think I got when I was a commissioner, I switched over and because I was still with the government.
Oh, I should ask.
Yep.
But yeah, I was wondering if they're still gonna offer that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we've got a motion, looking for support. And just to be clear, the motion is to proceed with a counter offer of 125 and we would dictate exactly where it went.
Yep.
Okay. Looking for a little support?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, no, we're good with that. I just need support.
I didn't know. I didn't know somebody made the motion.
Got a 50-50 chance.
Support.
You can't do both.
I'll support it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we got motion and support.
Good.
So we'll take a vote, all in favor of moving forward with the
Well,
motion.
we're talking money, do we have to take a?
Well,
We're not spending.
yeah,
We can do a roll call just in case.
Yeah, good.
Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Britton,
Yeah.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
yes.
Commissioner Kondershewski.
Yes. Okay,
I do have one question on this one, or I guess just noticing this would probably require a poll vote just because they do want to answer by tomorrow. But I wanted to make sure I at least got through one subcommittee before we took it to that. Chairman, are you okay with a poll vote? Okay, so we'll put a poll vote out. That'll go out today, but I can probably put all four of you down as yeses.
Yes.
Okay, so we only
You
need one.
don't have to call me.
So, okay.
All right. I think we're good. Now we move on to projects with the maintenance department.
So I'm still waiting on generator quotes. There's a lot of specs that they're wanting before they can make sure that the right equipment's being looked at and priced. So I'm still waiting on that. We have taken a look at Fair Board come to us with a few issues, cattle barn and the horse barn. We've addressed not the doors, but the tripping hazard. So next time y'all are out there, kind of take a look at that, we can work on it, but we've got fines and kind of eliminated what everybody was stepping on, and instead of sitting there trying to spend money and replace these doors that are not the problem, it's the part that's trip on and walking through the door. So we've got that addressed. I think it should be fine. We'll have to take a look, see how the rainwater and all that kind of treats it, but we've definitely got it better than what it was last year, so. When I was with the health department or the health inspector, he recommended changing or updating all of our signage out there. The dump station, a lot of those signs are outdated, they're old. We don't have a sign that says potable water. I think it says on the main sign that you can barely read, but it's got an arrow pointing towards it. So I'm gonna get together some sign pricing. Shouldn't be much. I mean, I think they're probably 30, 40 bucks per sign. We have them custom made. They're all aluminum, so I think it would be worth spending the money, getting them updated. Everybody will know what to do when they get there, so.
And that's something you think you'll be able to have done before Fair Week?
That's what I'm gonna aim on. I think we ordered the one in front of the courthouse and I think it got to me 2-3 days. So if I get on it this week, get it everything ordered, I think we ought to be good for Fair. Biggest project that we've got that's still kind of in the beginning, MDOT building has evidently a flaw in their design since the building was made. So the AC is not working properly. There's a damper that's put in the incorrect spot. So when they turn their AC on, they have AC coming out of the return and the supply vents. Not sure why this is just now happening again, but it's been brought to my attention. So we've got Spicer Group looking into it. Because Control Solutions does not want to touch it without a direction. That's kind of the general deal. And I guess last year it kind of got pushed aside, left alone. Well, it's 75 degrees in Michigan. People want some AC. So that's what we're looking at. They're still giving me some numbers. I don't think, and I sent this to Jesse this morning, all the contracts. We can look at it maybe next meeting, come back to this once I have all the numbers. But it's pointing towards this gonna be a big deal. I mean, they're wanting just roughly estimates. We've got one for $6,000 for them to go in, revamp what's there. And that's a 26-year-old unit. They have had the heat exchanger on this unit replaced. It has a compressor has been replaced. It's had basically the main components replaced. But Control Solutions still wants a direction before they do any type of work, scope, or anything to move forward. And then to install a new unit, Spicer Group sent me a quote or a contract. They want to oversee the bidding for the contractors, all of this mess that I don't believe we would even go for. That's kind of the reason why I didn't even really bring it to this meeting, because I don't think we don't need that. All we need is for that system to work properly, work correctly. So I think next meeting I ought to have more on it, but I do want to bring it to the attention. This is going to be a big deal. However it gets ironed out, worked out. It's got some major flaws. So, and not to mention the unit's 26 years old. So whatever we do, it's going to need planning. It's going to need a a lot of hands in it before we get it done properly and correct, where we don't have to worry about it moving forward, so. The price for the camper, we dropped to 65, and I have a nice couple stopped by yesterday, showed them the camper. Actually, she called while we were in the meeting just a minute ago, and I'm pretty sure she wants to have her son come look at it, do it better. She is aware of the spongy floor, everything else, but they were quite pleased with the shape of it for the year it's at. So I think we might be getting somewhere with that. So when I get out of the meeting, I'll call her, set up her son to come run all over that camper if he wants to, and hopefully we can get rid of it, so.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you.
With the HVAC problem out at the MDOT building, how did we end up with Spicer Group looking at that?
They were in it a year and a half ago. And I guess it was swept under the rug. And that's where kind of like my starting point was, because I had no idea who was involved, who was working. So once I realized, okay, I've got Spicer Group, I got Control Solutions. But after speaking with all these people, I don't really care for none of them at this point, because it's just, we've got an issue, and we went with them with an ongoing issue that was, under my understanding, it was left to where Spicer Group could draw up a solution, Control Solutions could carry out their drawing, and it would be fixed, and that would be a done deal. Well, now all of a sudden, we're having to revamp this, redo this. It's all this extra stuff that's getting thrown in there.
Who were you talking to at Control Solutions?
Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin.
I know, I work with them. I'll give them a call and follow up on this. I think we might be barking up the wrong tree with Spicer Group. I've worked with them also on some other projects, but it's been more civil and dam related stuff. And I think what we need is a mechanical engineer.
Right. And I've got all the paper, I can send it to you too, if you want to do that and everything where I'm at with it, right?
Okay, let me talk to Kevin first and I'll get with you.
Anything else on your docket?
That's all I've got.
Did you get a chance to grade out your drive there?
We did, I think it's gonna work great, so we get some more time to just look at some more, but I think the parts that we did do real well, so I think that's ticket to our bumpy fairground road, so.
Okay,
We will also have a grader soon, just prior to when the dust control goes down.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be all flat.
sounds good. And how are your camera situation progressing?
We are scheduled to install the 28th through the 30th, so 2 weeks.
Okay.
I have 33 or 34 going in. That'll be this building, one on the roof of the courthouse in the front, and then the one at the fairgrounds for their bathroom situation they've got going on,
Okay,
which should hopefully alleviate some problem people.
Where are you putting that camera on the end, facing that inside door?
Yeah, so like from the merchant building side, yeah, right above the door there.
Okay.
So it'll look at anybody coming in.
So I was thinking about that. You know, you see a lot of these where if someone knows that there's cameras, they'll kind of cover themselves up when they walk in. Is there any way to get something on the outside to see anybody coming and going?
Yeah, and I went over there yesterday and talked to Nick, and we thought about putting a couple on the outside to look at. One, to see the door, and two, as if they've got anybody coming in that we need to see license plates for. I have a couple of spare cameras, but I'm not sure where I'm gonna end up with quantity and labor for install. So that's something I was gonna look at either later this summer or next year.
Who's actually doing the install of the cameras? You guys?
We run the wire, but the actual like install, mounting and pointing is Modern Tech Solutions.
Do you have one inside the door when you walk from the outside in to the restroom area? Is there one up above where you can see who's coming in into the bathrooms?
No, that's where we're gonna put one.
Okay,
It's right there. Then we also discussed, access control, like something like you're talking about, some kind of code change weekly. I'm looking at something very similar for recycling, the new building that they're putting up, as part of that is access control for the bid. So they need to pick a system, and I went through like 5 or 6 with their director. And I've got a meeting with them this Friday, but depending on which one they go with, if they like it and it's easy for them to use, we were able to take something like that and expand it to the county buildings, so that we don't have they run around with Bluetooth into 500 doors and all over the county.
How does that work?
So, the door systems that we were looking at would be something that you could just go to like a web page for, not necessarily cloud hosted or internet based, but, we'd have some server that houses all the codes and who has access. So then when we make a user or you need to add somebody, it just puts them in 40 doors immediately, and you don't have to have someone run around to every single door.
And that's done through Bluetooth, you said?
But he currently, this is the way he does it, is through Bluetooth, is that right?
Yeah, I've got a little tablet that Wes gave me that I can never update, or the locks will not work. So when you go to the door, if I have somebody that I'm putting in, I have to put them in the system, then I have to go to the lock and it has to sync with the lock. Then that's that lock. Then I go to the next one and vice versa. Now, taking them out is a little bit easy because all you have to do is go to their name, swipe over, push delete, but then you still have to.
Yeah, go next to the door.
Sync.
how old is this tablet thing that Wes gave you? It's pretty old.
It's,
I don't think the tablet is too old. I think the problem is more with the actual lock system. It's not designed how we're using it. Because we've got, I mean, we hit the max on some of our doors, which means 500 codes. And it's just not designed for that many people. But they say you can put 500 in there and then you can put another 500 on like key fobs. But it's one of those theoretical maximums that really you shouldn't do that. Because I know when we've had to switch devices for that software to download all the lock information, it takes like 12 hours and the phone can't lock and you can't turn it off, and it's just sit there and you just can't touch it.
Is there any way that you can fix the problem? Another,
Yeah, and that's where it's like with recycling, if they like their system, that whatever one we end up picking for them, to me, it's like a pilot or something that we could push to the rest of the county. I think the only issue with that would be that we have to replace all our door locks. So, or get the controllers for them, either way, so it'd still be replacing all the locks. Which I think,
did you look into the cost or?
yeah, that's something that I've got a rough estimate based on the number of locks, so they're about 800 or 900 a piece for the controller and the lock, depending on which type we have to go with, so I'll just get an inventory on which ones need to be code locks versus hardwired. But I think the ones we have now are $700 anyways, so for almost the same cost. It just comes down to install for like low voltage wiring to get the actual mechanical part done. That's the part that I'm asking.
Is this something you think that needs to be done or?
I think it would be a drastic improvement on the way we do things, and then we don't have Dick wasting his time going around every door. And on top of that, it can be kind of a safety issue. If we have somebody who needs to be removed immediately, when we remove them, they're gone from all the doors instantly. We don't have to wait, however, like a day or hours, however long it takes them.
Well,
Hopefully it goes well at the recycling.
Yeah,
maybe you could give us a cost and maybe we should look into it.
You talked to Franks at all about?
I have not. I guess I could talk to them too about, are you talking for install or just for lock in general?
But just in the whole system in general. Phil's normally pretty sharp on that stuff. It'd be worth having a conversation with him.
Yeah, I can give a call to them.
If not, if he doesn't know anything about it, he'd be able to point you in the right direction anyway.
Surprisingly, they do a lot of stuff all over the state. I didn't know how elaborate they got with it.
I didn't know that either.
Right, yeah, you wouldn't think, but they're all over the place. And it would be nice to keep the money local if it's a suitable system, you know?
Yeah, if they've got something, then great. If not, then at least maybe use them as the installer. So
Sure.
something local.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we should go forward with this,
So let's put the camera at the fairgrounds at the top of your install list, since that's the only place we're having issues.
Yeah, we gotta run a cable still for it, but we got a week and a half or so we'll get that taken care of.
Okay. All right.
these cameras are adding. Is that the problem you're having with the homeless trying to sleep in the restrooms? It's pretty sad.
Sleeping in there, hanging out, just, and it's riprap. I mean, we make 3 rounds. By the time I get off, me and her make 3 rounds before we go to bed at night. And after that, I mean, it's, you know, we get up the next morning, hey, I seen so-and-so, and, you know, and it's like, okay, well, now you're taking his word instead of having, at least we'll be able to know, okay, well, we made a round at this point, everything's good. This 2 people come in at this point, at least we have a starting point to either go after them for cost of, you know, damages. Or, because I mean, it's not, when you think about it, it seems like it's not that big of a deal. But if we're going in there filling up dispensers every single day because they're going in there, taking them and washing their clothes or doing whatever, or the toilet paper, it's like they sit in there and just pull the toilet paper on the roll because they're bored. And it's like, you know, kids, I mean, it really is. It's like dealing with kids. But then you have some that's just the mental aspects of it, the physical, you know, the elderly that we've got down there. I mean, it's, you throw all that in one mix and it's.
And maybe is putting a code thing on the door a fix for that? I mean, at least then you know it's only people who are camping there because they're the only ones who would have the code. That might help with at least getting the people who are just wandering onto the property at night.
I think so.
Either that or lock it up at night and get a portage on.
That's an option too.
Portage on.
I actually looked at pricing, so it's like, that could be.
Be saving money with the portage on, have them, instead of having them waste the soap and toilet paper.
True.
Yeah.
Only other thing I've got, I guess, related to some other larger projects would be, I looked into our UPSs that we have. We have 2. They are 16 or 18 kilowatt. And we have one at the courthouse in our data center, and then there's one for dispatch in their building. And last December, I believe, we lost power for 45 minutes or so. We were on UPS because our generator failed at the courthouse. And then the UPS died because it was running at its capacity. And that highlights to me that it needs to be, we need a little bit longer runtime on there, and the generator issue that we had. So just thankfully gonna make looking into that. But I guess with that too, additionally, we might want to look at a smaller one just for the IT department as well. In the event that even with a replacement, if that one fails, we have a redundancy. But that one wouldn't be nearly as large. Something maybe down the road to look at as well. But with the UPSs, I had somebody do preventative maintenance and looking at price for replacement. The batteries in them and the one in the courthouse were manufactured in 2006. And I think they were new in 2016. So over 10 years or about 10 years now. And they've got an average lifetime of 5. So everybody who's seen them, when I've told them the age, they're like, how is that still working?
How much do those run roughly?
The actual batteries are about 500 a piece.
Okay.
I've replaced one cell in there that has given me issues just to get the UPS to stop screaming at me. But the actual unit itself is close to 25 years old for both of them, because they're identical in both buildings. And those are gonna need to be replaced because we're eventually gonna get to a point where we're not gonna have parts available for them.
What do those run?
The actual units for a 1-to-1 comparison is about 30,000 a piece. And that was the lower end. That was Eaton UPS, and that was about 30,000. And then APC gave me a quote, and theirs was, let's see, 36 or 40. It just depends. And they might not be sized appropriately. So we'd have to really look at that as well. But it also depends on if eventually down the road we get a new building, we want them both to be sized to where they could be moved and not have to be replaced. So
Do we have one at the sheriff's department?
we have one in the data closet for our equipment, but I don't know if their cameras or their door control does. I imagine that the installers for those have put theirs in there. We don't have administrative purview over that. But for our equipment, we do have a UPS, then they've got their generator, so they rarely lose activity there unless something's going on between, like the fiber got broke a few months ago, or if we've got power issues.
Does that have anything to do with meeting downstairs in the orange room and the courthouse was closed? And when we punched in to go down there, the alarm went off. We're trying to figure out how to shut this alarm off. And then, anyway, when we got down to the basement, finally it shut off and then it started up again. It was the most annoying thing. But then it went off, shut down. And then a while later, it went back on. Cold.
I think Controlled Solutions came and looked and there was an issue. I forget what it was.
That wasn't a door lock code. That was actually an alarm for the fire panel that's in the, going down to the vault in the basement where the boiler is. That panel was going off and it was I forget what it was. It was a leak in the system. But it was the last one that they checked. It was in the ceiling in a crawl space, the worst spot ever for it. But that was an issue. It broke, the seal broke. So it made the alarm go off.
So it's fixed now.
Yes, it's big.
Okay.
We ought to be good to go.
Oh, that was something else. Okay.
All right, anything else, Jesse?
Sure.
Did you ever get a chance to throw a list together for stuff you want to put on auction?
I have not.
Okay, if you think of it, just put it all in a pile and shoot me a little list and we'll get
I
that
think
guy up
there's
there.
a lot. If you're including the parks and,
Oh, no, we hadn't even. The equipment, old equipment in the shop that's been back there.
oh, yeah,
It's like carpet cleaners. There's just,
yeah, okay.
it's a crazy.
You're gonna have a garage sale.
Do we still have, are the box fans and shop vacs still out at the Merchants Building that were sent to us during the ice storm?
No, they were taken out to the jail.
Okay,
I know Eric did some stuff with them and then
okay.
I send my guys to cut grass at the jail. They come back with little goodies from Eric.
All right, all right.
Oh, I got it on my mind. Oh, you mentioned if you had a generator for a backup just in case Nick can't. Don't we have generators from the ice storm?
Oh, no, we only got, those were lent to us. The state came and picked them back up.
Oh, I thought we.
We,
And they were kind of useless because weren't they like electric or something like that?
no, those were heaters. No, the generators were the ones we,
Yeah, the big one.
yeah, and those got used and yeah, they came back and picked those up a while ago. We were donated, an individual donated a regular, just a small generator, but it's not gonna, it would never do anything for her facility. We sent that out to Long Rapids Hall because they had a family that couldn't make it in and out for food. So they ended up lending it to them. I mean, Kim collected it back or is in the process of getting it back.
Wondering if it's something he could use in his department.
I mean, but
Like a fixed one, in the event that like, auto come on,
Oh.
so we have to hook up. Because if our UPS dies, we will have 30 minutes between a generator failure and getting some form of power coming in. So I don't know, it really depended on if we could get a generator there that fast and hooked up.
So how much of it, the cost for a generator that you,
I am not sure on that. That I would have to get with Nick and we'd have to figure out what the draw is.
yeah, well, get a cost on it. I mean,
There is a generator at the courthouse, right? That's one of the ones that you're getting quoted to be replaced? Okay.
That one would help you then.
Yes, but in the event that that one failed, then we'd be on UPS backup. I would then, if it was on longer than 30 minutes or so, then we'd lose our entire data center. It'd be off. So then,
Yeah, I think the generators we have for the buildings are pretty old. Yeah.
They're within, what, 2 years of past their life expectancy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing good on them. And, you know, me and Logan will get together and run the numbers on that, see what kind of, cause I know maintenance, we've got a small generator. And if that's something, you know, like you said, just in case, if it's,
Right.
if that generator that we got will suffice for them.
Hmm.
It's still county owned, I mean, as long as somebody's got it and using it, we can.
Eric Smith has a good sized one. I think it's like a 7,500.
Oh, yeah, that's right, in that vehicle. right?
Yeah, and we could lower it down in that little area and put a cover over it. As long as you know, we know it's there. You wouldn't want to run it there, but we knew, if we knew it was there, you and your team could go over there and hoist it up and set it outside and get it set up.
Is there any kind of grant or something we could apply for?
I mean, if the storm, the ice storm grant that's sitting in the Senate right now in Michigan, the House passed, but the Senate for some reason is sitting on it. The governor is not doing anything, asking for it. I guess there's some sort of hoop out where she wants some bills passed by the House, so she's sitting on this because she knows it's a Republican bloc up here. And so unfortunately, we have $100 million grant sitting there waiting to come back to the communities that are still trying to figure out how to make up money for the ice storm.
Right.
You know,
So
and they're down there, yeah, and they're down there playing politics. So, I mean, which is fine, except for the next time we have a storm or a flood or something like that. You know, our generators took a hit. I mean, that was a week straight. A lot of our generators were running.
Yeah,
You know, that's not normal.
so if that ever does go through, then we could apply for,
If that goes through, there's verbiage in that bill that we could get the generators, yeah, covered the cost.
it's good to know, but.
Yep.
But they quit playing.
Yeah.
politics. Yeah.
And we do have Wolverine supposed to be getting in touch with me sometime this month. They'll do the load test on the generators that we have now. So at least we'll know how much those generators are putting out, how much they can stand, what, you know, what, at least an expectancy. You know, like I said, I've got pricing coming in, but with that test, it's gonna tell us exactly just how long we gotta do it. So,
Okay.
If they keep dragging their feet on you, Michigan Cat will do that as well.
okay.
They'll come out and test everything and give you some more quotes.
Okay. Yeah, I was under the impression that Wolverine was the only one that does the load tests.
Michigan Cat does it.
They do too, okay.
Yep. Yep. And I think actually, truth be told, even Alta even does it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All right, anything else? Okay, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, wait a minute, didn't we,
Oh, I'm sorry. You do have your monthly reports
yeah,
Oh,
at the end there? I'm so sorry. Yeah.
actually, they're not in there, I don't believe.
no, they were on the site, board book.
Okay, maybe I downloaded it too soon. Did everybody else get a chance to get a look at them?
I have them right here. I mean, do you want me to send them?
I can pull them up right now if they're on there. You're the analyst, John. Did anything jump out at you?
Basic, yeah, nothing. I'm good with them.
Say the magic words then. Say the magic words then.
I'll receive it, I'll motion to receive and file that report.
Has there been any update on their building?
There's a meeting Thursday for NAMA.
Yeah. Okay,
So we're getting to the point where I think with the funding, they need to be doing something soon.
yeah,
So,
and they're gonna be running out of weather.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well,
we have,
importantly, they're gonna be running out of contractors.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yep. All right, we've got a motion in support.
There's no people.
No.
Support.
Okay, meeting adjourned.